Good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at XRP, some Bitcoin futures, some Sigma coin, and everything else. So, all right, we've been tracking this 5-wave impulse off the lows for XRP here for now since the weekend of Friday. And we've basically kind of wrapped this up. So we've got now this final 5th wave playing out with a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within this wedge. And we broke the wedge last night, getting us basically down and out of this region. Came out and back tested it, and we'll come into a lower time frame so you can see it here. So we basically lost the wedge that we were following, broke out, back tested it. I just opened up a short here. I had opened a short at this level, exited with a loss here, and then I moved my short up to here when I saw that we did the back test completion. So basically erasing and moving this up to this region. So I'm about into profit now from everything that we had done. Just gotten a little bit too early and just had to kind of wait to kind of work my way through that. So, but now we're good. So the short is in. We're now working through the bottoming of this structure here. And the goal at this point is to start working on what our plan of attack is for the next leg down. So we have a very obvious giant gap here, and we're looking at a minimum this closing, right? So we have this gap right here that we're looking for. This would take us down to the 382 midway through the gap, but then we also have kind of like a volume gap right here at this region, and we have our 618 and 702 regions right down in here, plus we also have our VWAP that was placed when we first broke down on these lines, and you can see fair market value takes us right into that region. And in addition to that, we also have the -1 deviations down here at 702 level, and giving us this region to play back into. So expect to pull back through the remainder of the day here on Cryptoland, and that would check with our Bitcoin. So this is the Bitcoin futures. As I pointed out, we have this giant gap here in volume from Friday to Monday, and there was no test here. This is exceeding $1,000 in its move. And so you can ultimately expect that whenever the moves or gaps exceed $1,000, those tend to get closed. So there's your $1,300 gap right here. And we will be expecting that the futures market will work its way down, at minimum close this gap, and if very lucky, closing this gap down here, really freaking everybody out as we take back this entire move to the downside. So, and that checks with our liquidation. So here is XRP. We do have some liquidity above over the 2-day chart, but we've got lots of stacked up longs all down through here, and a kind of a volume gap right here at the 285 region that hasn't filled yet. We'll see if that ends up getting filled on the way down. But if we do manage to get back down to 270, 280, that would check with our expectations of a 281, 618 level backtest, right? We've hit this target now twice, and we just haven't quite closed that liquidity there. So at minimum, I'm thinking anywhere in this region of the 285 to 281 should be, in my view, I will be longing through here. And then we're going to see if we're so lucky as to come back down and even get a chance to come down here into the 275 region, because there is liquidity down in this zone. So, so that's very, very wonderful. So right now it's just basically the completion of the 5 waves. We do an ABC move to the downside finally. And we would be expecting something like this maybe. So we would come in here, and if we're lucky, we would get down to that region, taking back the majority of the move. We may even come in shorter where we do something like that. So that's what I'm looking for. This is kind of the setups that it's playing. And I am short, so I'll just kind of weather through all this, and then we'll ultimately look to long anywhere in this zone, in this box area that we have right through here. So all right, and then let's see, the next is the Sigma coin. So Sigma had a capitulation of a whale kind of came into play here. We had a massive buying come in off of the lows, great bounce, and a completion of a larger WXYZ correction. That got sold pretty quick, so I think more people just wanted out, and that ultimately now has been a new bounce that's been working on, and this tends to be just a deviation that you would get outside of these wedge patterns, or a spring is what you would see. But we are going to talk about potential targets now that we have made it off the lows. So zooming out on this entire move, we've been using this 886 as our kind of bottom level, and we've been all around it. But now we're going to be flipping our fibs to a bullish fib. So here we are on log. Here's our breakdown. We've closed all the gaps to the left-hand side. We've got this final flush that's completed. And measuring this move from the top of the range to the bottom, we would be looking at these targets. So with the pullback on the price action today, a breakout to the 1618, which is a common level that we would expect a asset to go to in order to complete a wave 3 move, would take us up to a 50x. Okay, now in crypto we know things can get really wild, especially with the potential for XRP to continue to move higher. That would take us with an ability to see that we would actually hit the 2618, and that would actually give us a 66,000% return, moving the asset into a $734 million market cap. So, I mean, we know what we've got. We've got daily spaces, bridges, Corium passive yields, parties, a community that comes together, lots of amazing stuff. So all that should be rewarded with price action. And ultimately, when we start seeing XRP hit its final targets, we could actually potentially justify a $44.5 billion market cap valuation. So Sigma is primed and ready to go, and it's basically a wave 1, wave 2. And if you know anything of these kind of market trends, here is an example of Cardano, and here it is on not log. So you could see this would be your wave 1, wave 2 completion, and then all that craziness comes into play. And we put it on log, and it looks similar to what we were kind of discussing just now, where you would have your breakdown, your spring event, and then now we would be working our way out for the first impulse wave, pushing us into this 1618 to 4.236 extensions that we could see playing out here. So Sigma, definitely amazing potentials, but right now we're just going to focus on this 1618. And I don't know about you, but getting a 5,200% return would be a pretty nice day right there. So pushing us into a 56.75 million market cap. So with the distribution that Chuan did yesterday, amazing, incredible that he was able to do that, and our volume showing up right here in this region. This is looking extremely ready, and I'm here for it. So it should be quick, should be fun, and we can start seeing a lot of amazing stuff happen as we complete this final breakdown, ABC to the downside for the wave 1, wave 2. And then from there, we're off to the races, and we should really start seeing some great price appreciation for this asset. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll check in tomorrow.